Hey guys, I know, who is she? She's a ghost. Hola, wait, do I look crazy? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hola, bienvenidos a mi canal. Well, I just never know what to do with my fucking hands, and I've been doing YouTube for over 3 years, I think, and I still struggle with an intro. Hey, what's up? It's been a minute. I know. I don't know how long it's been. I think it's been maybe like 2 to 3 months since I uploaded a video, which is sad. Sad, I know. But today's video, I don't want to give a huge intro or like explain why. All I have to say is mental illness, and that's it. We're all struggling, we're all trying to survive, and it is what it is. But I'm feeling good today, and I really want to share with you guys what I've been doing since I've been gone. The whole new hobby. It's not a new hobby, but it's something I like reintroduce into my life. And if you can't tell from what's here and on the thumbnail and the description of the video, is that it's reading. And I'm so excited to share with you guys what I've been reading since August. I think it was like mid-August is that I just decided to do something to take my mind off of my reality. As depressing and crazy as that sounds, it's the truth, and I feel like reading has honestly been my saving grace when it comes to like my anxiety in general. So I'm really happy to have picked it up, and I've been enjoying ever since August. I've like been reading books like it's nobody's business, mainly romance, because that's like my favorite. It's like my favorite escape, but I have a couple of other ones thrown in here as well, but it's mostly romance, just letting you know that. So yeah, I want to share that with you guys today, kind of give you like my opinion on the ones that I have been reading and what I've liked, what really got the ball rolling for me in reading and stuff. I used to read a lot back in the day when I was younger, elementary, middle school, and high school. I just stopped because I started focusing on boys, alcohol, drugs, you know, dumb shit. Things that don't last, things that are not important. So that's kind of a bummer. So I stopped reading when I was in high school, but I would read here and there, like a self-help book, a poetry book, things like that, but I never like picked it up as an adult. And I feel like now that I'm an adult, almost 30 years old, I feel like I just found a whole new love for it, and I focus on other things like the way books are written and just like the style of writing and things like that. I like honestly have fallen in love with that. So I just like, I'm always trying to find something new to read. Like once I finish a book, I'm like on to the next one. That's like, anyways, I'm just rambling. We're here to talk about these guys right here. You guys see them? Trying to get them in the shot. Okay, so these are all the books I've been reading. I'm gonna go in order, kind of, not really, but yeah, let's just get into it. So the first book that I started reading was because I wanted to watch the show, and I heard that it was a book first. It's like a slew of books. There's like so many of them, but the show, the first show, and that's called the first book, pretty much. And that is Bridgette, the Duke and I. So thoughts on this book. One, I hate books that are this small. Like I really do, just because they're so hard to read. Because they're so small and stiff. Like I like the floppy moment. This one's just a little broken into because when I was reading it, you know, I was opening it up as wide as I could. That's what she said. This book. I read this book and then I watched the show on Netflix. The show's so much better, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because if you haven't watched the show or read the book, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but so spoiler alert. Here's your spoiler alert, skip ahead. But there's a part in here where, actually a lot of things are wrong with this book. Oh, my nails match this book. There's a lot of things wrong with this book. One, I feel like it was highly casted, like white cast in here in the book. Like it's nothing but white people. And I'm starting to notice that a lot with a lot of books, that you don't see a lot of POC in them, which is sucky, because a person being me who is Latina, I love to see representation because it makes you kind of feel like it's like related to you, like relevant and shit. But I didn't relate at all to this book. And I mean, given it's a historical fiction, so it takes place in like the fucking 1800s. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what year does it take place in like the 1900s, 1920. Oh, fucking no. Signs over here. Oh, I was right. It is the 1800s, 1813. That's when this takes place. So it's fucking old, and this is when racism was. I mean, racism is still well and alive, but when it was like acceptable, well, it wasn't acceptable then, but you know what I mean. It was like big time racism. So I guess, you know, I can't be mad. So, but it was just hard for me to relate to the book. I just really wanted to read it because I heard nothing but good things about the show. But I'm the type of person that if I know there's a book, I would rather read the book first, because I don't want the book to, I can't watch the show and then read the book later, if that makes sense. Anyways, I feel like I'm rambling about this book. So that's one of the problems. The other problem was there was a point in this book. If you've seen the show, you've seen the book. A point in this book where, I don't even remember her name, and I just literally finished this show. Daphne, that's the main love interest. I mean, the main girl and her love interest, the Duke, Simon, and they had, you know, already got married or whatever. And she tricked him. She got him drunk and took advantage of him when he was drunk and pretty much raped him and made him come inside her. Like, sorry if that's graphic, but I don't like it because the author in the book just kind of like didn't really, there was no like repercussions for her. There was no like lesson to be learned in there. And it's like, if it was a woman that was being R-word raped, I just don't think that she would have done it that way. You know what I'm saying? Just because he's a man, it's not okay still. So that's something else I didn't really like. But other than that, I mean, whatever. It was whatever. You know, I gave it, I think, 2 or 3 stars, just because this was the first book that kind of got me into like, you know, and it's kind of explicit, a little smutty, so it wasn't bad. But I like the show so much better. The show has a lot of people of color representation, so that's beautiful. I love to see it. They should have done more, but you know, progression, we're progressing. So I really like the show a lot better than the book. So honestly, skip the book, but we can move on from this because honestly I'm just over it. The next book I read, which like it wasn't right after, this book took me a minute to read. I've been having this book since, I think since it came out. So it took me a while to get to read it because the beginning is so dark. If anyone has read it, it's a good poetry book. Like, I rated this 5 stars. I fucking love it. But it's very dark in the beginning. It's like a progression of like trauma and healing, like from trauma to healing. So it's very dark, it's very hard to read, but it was honestly very relatable. And that's why it took me a minute to kind of like read it, because I'm like, I feel like she wrote this book for me, this poetry for me. But honestly, it was beautifully written, and I gave this 5 stars. If you're into poetry books, I highly suggest this. The end is probably my favorite because it's a lot of women empowerment, empowering you to love yourself. And yeah, the ending of this book was amazing. The beginning a little harsh, but honestly, all in all, I feel like definitely a book that you should read if you're into that stuff, if you're into, excuse me, if you're into poetry, and if you're into, you know, progression of like trauma and healing. So beautiful. Next, oh, author Ruby Carr. I haven't said the author. The author is The Duke and I. Who was it? Julia Quinn, which I believe had a lot of like controversy with her. I honestly don't know. I don't care enough to like research it because I'm probably never gonna read any of her books, especially if they're this size. Okay, so the next book that I read was Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. And this book was about a girl who suffers some trauma. I think her father passed away. I'm telling you, these are the books I read in August. So I'm trying to remember what it was about. But yeah, this girl, Charlotte, she suffers something traumatic. Her dad dies, her mom is like non-existent, so she gets admitted into a psych ward. So that's kind of where it starts. But it's basically her journey and it has kind of like a love interest in it, but it's pretty dark. It's a pretty dark book. I would read the trigger warnings before you read this book. I did rate this book like I think 3 or 4 stars or 3.5 stars. I forgot. I have Goodreads, so if you want to follow me, I'll put my Goodreads account down below. But I do rate all the books that I read on there, and it's pretty good. So if you're into reading, look into Goodreads because it's a nice way to keep track of the books that you're reading. You can read reviews on them, and you can leave your own review of these books as well. So like I said, yeah, so it's a pretty dark book and has a lot to do with self-harm and sexual abuse. So if that's triggering to you, I would, you know, maybe stray away from it. But if it's something that you don't mind read it, I think this book was a really good introduction to like reading to get you started, because the writing is very easy. It's not like super complex, super like deep ass poetic writing. It's very like straight to the point. It was a good book. I really liked her writing. So yeah, if you're into that, this was the third book that I read. Okay, the next book that I read was a like TikTok recommendation book because I did not know what to read next. If you guys don't know, there's this whole like world called Booktube, where people recommend books on TikTok. So this was one of those, and it was very much hyped. I mean, I'm talking about hyped to the point where people were like, I cried at the end, it was so good, and I'm like, I think it depends who's reading it, honestly, what I've noticed with recommendations, because I think this is meant for a certain audience, and I just wasn't that audience. I gave this book a 4-star, either 3.5 stars or 4. And the reason I gave it 4 stars or 3 stars, I liked the book, like everything, but I couldn't relate. One, it's a bunch of rich white people, no offense, but I could not relate to it. But the twist at the end, I was like, huh? Like, huh? What? Wait, what? Yeah, like literally right here, this part of the end, yeah. Huh? Excuse me? What happened? What happened? So yeah. Other than that, let me say what it was. It's We Are Liars by E. Lockhart. Like I said, it was beautiful. It was really hyped on TikTok. People were like, I cried, blah, 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 blah. And I understand why you would cry if you were young, but I'm almost 30. Like, I don't think that this just doesn't relate to me. We're talking about teenagers in high school, so it's like, and don't get me wrong, I read books about teenagers in high school and I love them, and this one just didn't hit it for me. But the twist at the end, honestly, so good. Like, I did not expect it at all. Easy to read. I think I read this in like 3 days. So super easy to read. The beginning was a little slow to get to, that's why it took me a little bit longer to read, but 3 days, not bad. The twist, is it worth the twist? If you go like, what's it called? Rent it from your library. Like, don't buy it. I bought it. Don't be Cassie. On to to the next. The next book I read was a book club book. Me and my sister started a book club with all my primas. So we, this is the first book we read. We're currently on our second book now, which we have a meeting for in like 2 weeks or something. But anyways, this is the first book we read, which was Behind Closed Doors, which is a thriller. This is from B.A. Paris. This was a thriller. Oh, I didn't even say what the other book was about, but honestly, you can read the synopsis. I don't really want to like spoil anything for anybody. But this basically is a book about, you know, this girl who has a perfect marriage, or at least it's what it looks like to other people, but really behind closed doors, what is really going on? Can their marriage be really that perfect? Why doesn't she, you know, have her own shit? Why does he have to drive her everywhere? Why? All these questions, and they get answered in this book. So I rated this book 2 stars. I don't know if I'm just not into, no, that's not true, because I just read a thriller and I fucking loved it. I rated this 2 stars because that's what it was worth. It was not good, in my opinion. The writing was not good. It was almost like it dragged on and it gave information that was not necessary, in my opinion. And it just was boring to me. So I was like honestly forcing myself to read it, just because I'm like, I would honestly fucking just not, I would stop in the middle of this book and just not read it. Like I would just not finish it, because if it wasn't for the book club, because I just was not into it. Like it just wasn't the purpose of like why the husband does what he does. Like it's just not my cup of tea. So I mean, read at your own discretion, just not my vibe. Next book, next fucking book. This is my first 5-star book. My first 5 fucking, and I could give it more stars. I would give it 1,000, 1,000,000 eternity stars, because this is the first book that made me feel anything, like an emotion that I felt like I want to, like, I want my heart. This is like, I can't even speak. That's how emotional it got me. This is Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I don't know how to say the last name. Albertalli. Okay, this book has a movie. It's called Love, Simon. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Go read this. I have all like these bookmarks and all these books. Go read it. Go see it. Oh, 5 stars. Are you kidding me? So basically, this book follows our main character, Simon, who is a closet gay. He has not come out to his friends. He has not come out to his parents. And it's not that he's scared to come out. It's not that he feels like no one's going to accept him. He just doesn't want to change their opinion of him, because, you know, he says like straight people don't have to come out as straight, which is true. Why do we have to make a big deal out of what someone chooses or how they choose to live their life? But it's basically his journey. He meets a guy online on this like social media app that their school has, and emails him on a whim, in an anonymous whim, and this guy came out anonymous as well. So they're 2 anonymous, they don't know who each other are, and they're just emailing back and forth. And this book is just filled with their emails, what they were talking about to each other, and then finally at the ending, it's so wholesome, it's so cute. I love Simon. Like I want Simon to be my best friend. I just love gay men. Like they're just so cute to me. And I just loved this book. This book was so fucking good. I think I started it one day and then I finished it the next day, like 2 days max. And then I watched the movie, and I watched the movie like back to back, because I just loved it so much. It was just, the book is way better than the movie, just because I had a picture of what I wanted this anonymous guy to look like. But honestly, they were both cute, they were both amazing, and it made me tear up a little bit, just because the movie made me cry, but the book made me tear up a little bit, because there was a part where he was talking to his mom, and his mom was, you know, like basically talking to him and telling him like, you don't, like, you're the same person, like I love you still, and it's like, you can breathe now. Like it felt like you were holding your breath your whole life. and now you can breathe. You're not hiding anything anymore. And I'm just like, yes, baby, you can breathe now. Anyways, I can talk about this book all day, and I feel like I spoiled it already, but I just love it. Just love you. Okay, good book. You should read it. I'm probably gonna reread it in like the near future, and I want to highlight a bunch of like beautiful quotes that are in here, because there was something that his mom said too that I honestly love so much. But yeah, you guys, Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda, and love Simon the movie. Read it, watch it, love it. The next book that I read was a book that I actually thrifted. I went book thrifting and I bought a bunch of books. I was gonna do a haul, but I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Because I bought a bunch of books, like over 15 books, and I haven't even read them all. So I'm like, little by little, we'll figure it out, okay? Anyways, this book is called The Infinite Moment of Us, and it's by Lauren Miracle. I think that says Miracle. This book was cute. I gave it a 3-star, I believe. It was cute. It was about a relationship with this girl, our main character, Ren. I knew it was something like that. Our main character, Ren, and she has a crush with this boy, but her parents are very, very controlling. They're the type of parents that are like, you know, your studies come first, nothing is important, nothing else is important, you're not allowed to date, you graduate, you're going to this school, you're going to be a doctor. Like, they planned out her life for her, and she's like, no, that's not what I want to do. So she finally graduates, and she tells her parents that she's not going to fucking do that anymore. And there's this guy that she's like really into, and it's the love interest. So it's kind of their like journey before she takes a big step in her life. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. There's really no like plot to it or no like substance to it. It's just a fun book to read. The ending I'm not crazy about, because I feel like I needed more. Like, I need you to tell me more about their like relationship. But all in all, it was a cute book. I probably will sell it back to half price books. But all in all, it's cute. So that's that. So the next 3 books that I read, and I'm bringing them 3 because they're series. So this series is about a girl named, oh my god, I forgot her name. Hold on, let me see if I can remember her name, because I literally just finished the last book.
Oh my god, I feel like I see it and I know what her name is. But seriously, I remember his name. Tyler. What was her name? Ready? Okay.
Her name was Eden. Main character Eden, love interest Tyler. So this is, did I mention I miss you? Did I mention I need you? Did I mention is this the right order? No. Sorry, this is the order. Did I mention I love you? Did I mention I need you? Did I mention I miss you? These are cute. The best out of 3 is the middle one, this one. But basically, they all take place in a different state. The first one takes place in LA, in Santa Barbara. The second one takes place in New York, and the last one takes place in Portland. So basically, we follow Eden and her love interest Tyler, but the love interest is also her stepbrother. So the first one, she visits her dad in California, and they haven't talked in like 3 years. He barely calls, but he left her mom 3 years ago. So they're kind of like on a rocky relationship, but he invited her to come stay for the summer in Santa Barbara. He remarried, and she has 3 sons, and the oldest one being Tyler. So it's kind of like their journey of meeting each other. She becomes part of his friend group because she meets a girl that's part of their friend group, and like they're always with each other, and she feels like he's so rude. He has like a really troubled life, like he's into drugs and he parties a lot. And he's kind of an asshole to her. So she's like, why do you hate me so much kind of vibe, you know, like it's like that hate to love type of transition. So it's basically, yeah, their experience all together. The second one, which takes place in New York, is when she goes visit her stepbrother in New York, because he's out there doing some like nonprofit work. So it's their journey in New York. And then the last one is their journey in Portland, Oregon, which, spoiler, she's from Portland, Oregon, but you find that out in the first book because that's where she comes from to visit her dad. Anyways, it's their love journey in all 3 books. Like I said, the middle one was probably the best book out of all of them when it comes to like the love and stuff. Other than that, I just feel like the last one kind of rushed through everything, and the first one was kind of like too much bully, like him bullying her type of vibe. And then there's this girl in here who's Tiffany. Her name is Tiffany, and she's like the popular bully girl, who was his girlfriend in the first book. And honestly, like in real life, I would have fucking punched that bitch in the mouth and she would have never bothered me again. So why did you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, punch that. You've done so much other shit, so why don't you just punch that bitch in the face? Because honestly, she would stop bothering you. And why are you hanging out with her also? Like, a lot of things I'm just like, what? But it was cute for what it was. I liked it, and I had to read all 3 because I'm the type of person, if I start a series, I'm gonna see it through. I'm gonna see it through, my guy. I'm gonna see it through. So it stopped recording because it cuts me off after 30 minutes. So let's wind it down. I have 3 more books to share with you that I read on my Kindle. So I decided, since I was reading so much, I'm like, I need to like, because I've been ordering books from Amazon too, so I'm like, I want to switch off like one on Kindle, one on like an actual book, because there's some books where I'm just like, I don't want to buy it because it has like a naked guy in the front, and like I don't want that in my like library, you know, situation. So I just didn't want to buy the books. Anyways, Kindle Unlimited, there's a bunch of books that you can like get to read right away. You just download them to your Kindle, but you don't keep them, which is totally fine with me. It's like 10 bucks a month, I believe, and you can read as many books as you want. But they have a lot of good ones on there, which I'm gonna get to eventually. But the ones that I have read, my God, I'm gonna put the pictures up right here. So the first one that I read was Cruel Prince, and that's what it's called, right? Okay, yeah, so the first one I read was Cruel Prince, and then I read the second book, which is Ruthless Night. I just finished it last night, the second book. I didn't read them back to back. I read Cruel Prince like maybe, I don't remember, I think the beginning of October. And I started Ruthless Night on the 9th of October, and I mean the 6th, and I finished it on the 9th. And then I read another book in between that. But this is a series, the 4-part series, and I honestly thought I was gonna stop with the first book. The first book being The Cruel Prince. So this follows a family. It's 3 siblings. It's the oldest brother, Jace, the middle brother, Cole, and the youngest sister, Bianca. So it's basically their journey with their relationship, and every book is their relationship. So the first book follows Jace and his girlfriend, why can't I think of her name? Dylan. And I loved it. It was heavy on the bullying though. Like, I feel like the bullying went a little too far, but I did give the book, I believe I gave it 5 stars, I think. I honestly enjoyed the book. Like, I loved it so much. The ending, there's just this quote that fucking hit me so hard just because I've lost somebody. There was a line on here, and I've always said that about my grandma, that she was a butterfly. And there was this line in the book, and I'm gonna show you right now. I'm gonna say it right now if I could just shut the fuck up. Oh, sorry. So yes, I gave it 5 stars. I gave it 5 stars. I knew it had to be high up there because I really, really did like this book. I thought fucking quote that just like melted my heart because there was a loss in the family. So a quote that was said was, "Butterflies appear when angels are near." And I loved it so much because I'm like, grandma, like, yeah, I fucking love it. And it was so good, so smutty. Like, the word pussy and dick are in the book. So it's a lot of, you know, beautiful little smut scenes. You get to get a little bit of that, you know, going on. But it was honestly really good. I just loved the love between the two main characters in the book. So anyways, the second book that I read, which was Ruthless Night, that book is the book for the middle child, which is Cole, and his love interest Sawyer. And this one's more trigger heavy on drug use and body image and weight and things like that. Food, what's that called? I'm sorry, I can't think of it, but yes, body image and all that stuff that comes with it. So read the triggers for that book, Ruthless Night, but I'll put a picture up here of that one as well. So good. So this one, 5 stars as well, more than the other one. I'm not even lying, I've never had a book make me fucking cry as much as this stupid ass book made me cry. I was finishing it last night. I'm telling you, I read it in 3 days. So I was finishing it last night. I stayed up till midnight because I just didn't want it to stop. And for like, I don't even know how many chapters. I think it was like, I want to say 4 or 5 chapters. They're short chapters. But 4 or 5 chapters, I was sobbing, crying. And it's just, this book, I really related to it because it had a lot to do with like comparing yourselves to like prettier girls, skinnier girls, and things like that. So it has a lot to do with that. And I just, chef's kiss. Bully heavy as well, like very bully heavy. And the way they talk is kind of like cringy a little bit. But if you can look past that, honestly, like the message in the book, like I said, chef's kiss, my guy, chef's kiss. But yeah, so now I'm gonna read the third book, which is Wicked Princess, and it has to do with Bianca and her love interest, which I have no idea who it is because they don't even mention it. But it's cool because you kind of get all of them in all the books. They're like sprinkled of all the other siblings in the other books, so I know what is going on with Dylan and Jace in the current book that I just finished. And then now that I've started Wicked Princess, which I'll throw a picture up just in case you're interested, I just started that one, so I'm currently reading it. But so far it's, you know what's going on. You mentioned of all the other siblings and their, love interest, so it's like the progression of the book. So it's pretty good. I like it. I just honestly stumbled upon it. No one recommended it to me. It literally just stumbled upon it. But they're very smut heavy. So if you don't know what smut means, smut is like sex scenes, things like that, of that nature, sexual, erotic scenes. It's heavy on that, which I don't mind. I don't mind at all. But yeah, I really love this series. I was pleasantly surprised because I wasn't gonna continue it, but I'm glad that I did because yesterday's book really had me in my fucking feels. Just saying. So if you're into it, try to read it. Why not? The last book that I read was, I have to look at my Kindle because I don't remember. I started in the beginning of October and I literally finished it like 2 days later. It's The Girl You Lost by Catherine Croft. This is a thriller about basically a girl's child was abducted, and then 18 years later a girl's claiming to be her daughter. And it's the journey. She basically goes through all these struggles trying to figure out if this girl's lying, and it just takes her path from path. It is honestly so crazy, like crazy. I couldn't put the book down. I like literally read it in 3 days. It was so good, like so good. And the twist at the fucking end, I was like, in the beginning of the book, I'm like, I think I know. But then like it made you like not really, not really like, okay, never mind, I'm probably wrong for thinking that, but then at the end I was like, I fucking knew it type of vibe, you know what I'm saying? That was good. I gave that book 5 stars. I really enjoyed the twist at the end, and I really enjoyed reading it in general, so yeah. But anyways, that's gonna be all the books I read in August, September, and October. Or October's not done, so I'm still reading in October. But if you guys liked this, I will do so many more, because I'm not gonna stop reading yet. There's so many books I have that on my list that I'm so excited to fucking read. So I can do this every month if you guys want like a monthly wrap up of how I feel about the books. If I do a book haul, would you guys want to see that? I mean, I'm in this, like I'm honestly in this, and I don't want to stop because I'm honestly loving it. It's helping with my anxiety immensely. Give me some recommendations so I can add to my list of books that I want to read, and we can do this month per month. That would be so much fun. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I really had fun reading. Well, I had fun reading, but I really had fun filming this. I don't really have anyone to talk about books with because I'm the literal only bookworm in my household. So, and my friends are not really like, and my family's not really like, so yeah, this was fun to just chit chat to myself about books, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too, because I want to keep doing it. Follow me on my social media, Instagram down below. I don't go on Twitter, so don't even follow me there. Follow me on TikTok for sure. And yeah, I think that's gonna be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow the bell, comment, all that jazz. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
I begin to You're mine for sure.